Hello and welcome to the HeiDoc YouTube channel and a very odd camera setup for today. So here you see my Samsung phone, Android phone, and the storage settings. We have 16 gigabytes of internal storage, 11 of which have been used up, and an SD card which is formatted as internal storage. The default for SD cards is external storage, so you can use it for photos and the data portions of a few apps. But if you install the SD card as internal storage, you can load most of the apps on there, plus most of the data folders. So this leaves a lot more space to use up for app installations compared to the default settings. So I have about 50 apps on this phone, 50 external apps additional to the pre-installed apps. So after you install an SD card as internal storage, you are able to migrate the data folder onto that card and free up internal memory. Once that's done, and over time, more and more internal storage will fill up with other stuff, and you might get the idea, okay, let's migrate that data again. If you do that, disaster will strike, and most help sites, most forums on the internet don't show how to handle this. So let's see what happens if you migrate the internal storage again. So let's go to the internal, and here on this more button, if you do it once, it will migrate. If you do it a second time, it will give you the option to start migrating again. Now hopefully coming up soon. There it is. So if you do that without knowing how to solve the problems that are coming up, it's major disaster, but I'm prepared, so let's just do that. And it will not tell you that it actually is doing this for the second time. It just looks exactly the same as if you were doing that for the first time. So the phone is working on it. And now here it's starting to trigger the migration for the second time. It just looks like for the first time. Let me hold this into the camera so you can see it clearly. So it's not started it yet. And now it's asking for confirmation. It doesn't tell you that it's already done it. Let's go. And here it's starting the migration now. So I'll let it migrate for a couple of minutes, and I'll be back with the results once it's done, and it will be shocking. Welcome back. So the data migration has crashed, and I'm back to the start screen of the phone, and I'm getting all these funny messages here. So your storage space is full, you need to delete unused data, etc. So let's have a look at what actually happened. Okay, go back to the storage settings. Storage, and big disaster. Internal storage is full, but on the SD card nothing has changed. And this can be replicated. It happens every time when you migrate the data more than once. I've had this on my Samsung phone and on my Lightbook e-reader as well. So I started researching in forums, websites, etc. Most sites tell you to install some data cleaner like CC Cleaner, Norton, etc. Don't bother with it. It will not help. Those forum users that have realized it doesn't help, they would just recommend, okay, do a phone wipe, delete everything, do a factory reset. That's not necessary. It will solve the problem, but you will lose photos, saved games, settings, etc. So don't do that. It's not necessary. So the really pathetic thing here is it can just happen to you without you realizing it. You think you free up internal storage, and what actually happens here is it puts all these temporary files onto your internal storage. And people tell you you're out of options, but no, you're not out of options. So when this happens to you here, despite use of adoptable storage, your internal storage is basically full. Do the following: you start a third migration. Just start it. Don't let it go to the point where it also crashes. You need to act before. So let's do a third migration here. Go to more, migrate data, and it will go back to the screen where we've been before. And really, it's very poor design that it doesn't tell you here on this screen what's actually happening here. It should tell you that it's already been migrated. It should have told you that on the second instance of migration, and not let you run into this disaster here. So let's do the export for a third time. Now it's doing the exporting just the same as before. Now it started the migration, and what you do now is restart your phone. Restart. And now it's starting up. Let's give it a few seconds. Once that's done, everything will be back to normal. No more problems. All the internal storage space will be free again, except these 11 gigabytes, of course, that were used up before. And actually these 11 gigabytes, they can't be migrated to the SD card. That's the operating system, pre-installed apps, and actually every app that you have on the phone will use some minimal space on the internal storage. So I have 50 apps on here, so each of them uses up a bit of internal storage. Small apps use small bits, big apps use big chunks. So this is taking a bit longer than a usual restart, and I think it is because it deletes all these unused temporary files that have been used up, have been using up the internal storage. So restart is done, and as you can see, everything's back to normal. So in case this happens to you, I hope this video is helpful. Don't despair, just go back to the data migration, do a third migration, and once after it started migrating, restart your phone. Everything will be back to normal. No need for a factory reset. Don't bother with these cleaning apps, CC Cleaner, etc. They're useless. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.